Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, as shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where we'll be vibing out as per usual. I feel like the vibing out as per usual is something I've now added on to the intro, just by essence of me saying it every single time, which I feel like is a bit reductive to the point of an intro in the first place. You know, what's the point of me having a standard intro if I'm just going to continuously add to it? But it's a good way to get conversationally things rolling, I suppose. If anything, maybe I should try and change it up every single time, so then it's at least a little bit different. But, you know, that's a future me problem to think about. Anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow at 6:07 PM on Friday, April 21st, 2023. What are we going to talk about today? I don't know, that's a very good question. Should we just revert back to holiday conversations? It's a miracle that we've got like a whole month of holiday conversations out of here, and we are still only in the second city. But I think things will speed up as I continuously talk about more and more things which have happened over the holiday. And at this point, it's not really talking about the holiday anymore, so much as it is talking just about things which happened coincidentally on the holiday and like conversations, I suppose, from it. Not that I need to particularly justify myself, I think. I mean, it's an entire premise, I suppose, of these videos is me kind of talking about what I wanted. Like, that's what you're here for, right? So it's kind of like, I don't know what I'm trying to justify here, but this is just the existence that we all know and come to love. What am I doing? I'm sorry, I'm just walking to a wall as I'm scrolling down. Okay, so here we are travelling to the next city. This is us leaving Mercia, I assume. This is Mercia, right? Yeah. What was after Mercia? I don't even remember. I guess we'll find out. Was it Seville? Gibraltar? Is it this place? What's this place? I don't even remember. Oh, is this Granada? This must be Granada, right? Actually, completely forgot we went there. Let's see. We had to take a bus or coach into the city. I remember that because we stayed in like quite far outside the actual city itself. Is this the first time someone used to shower maybe inside a motorhome? I'm not sure. Oh, I didn't want to visit someone abroad. There's no one here. It was a very nice selfie of me, I would say, in this picture, but that's neither here nor there, I'll certainly say. See, the thing is, I don't know what's going on in this video because I don't want to play it right now. Live in action. What is going on? What is that? I have no idea what this is. This is when we went to get some food. Okay, so I do sort of vaguely remember what happened. This is like, because, sorry, lots of thoughts again. In Spain, as I understand it, in general, well, actually, I think it's in quite a lot of European countries. Lunchtime is generally a bit later than it is in UK. For whatever reason, UK lunchtime has always been 12 to 1 o'clock, sort of. And I think that's just because that's kind of what schools do most of the time. Because during school time, I remember, at least in primary school, our lunchtime was, I think, from 12 to 1 or something. And you basically eat lunch right at the beginning of that, and then you have the rest of the 45 minutes or whatever after you eat lunch to go play and to do things. Oh man, I just have so many random memories from lunchtime. Which I don't know if I should talk about now necessarily, but one of them, it's such a small story, but I just remember I always spent so long eating lunch. I don't know why I took so long the entire time. Like, I remember multiple times where I was basically the last person left in the canteen or cafeteria just eating lunch in primary school. And I genuinely have no idea why I ate so slowly. I don't think I had a particularly bigger lunch than anyone else. I had sandwiches, I had like yogurt, a packet of crisps, and maybe like a fruit or something, which sounds like a pretty standard lunch. But why am I so slow? I don't remember. I remember multiple times. You know, it's almost sad to think about. Not in a sad, like in a, oh, that's lame sort of way, but like in a, sort of way. I was like, I used to be quite lonely, so I was just like, I want my friends to stay back and like, you know, eat lunch with me or whatever. So I remember just like asking friends to do that or something. And someone, and it wasn't quite directly like, hey, can you stay back? But I'm like, hey, wait for me or something like that. And they'll be like, all right, because they were my friends. Not all the time, I'm sure. Most of them went out to go like play games or do something, or, you know, actually experience a fresh air. I don't know why I was so slow every single time. I'm going to be honest. I think I just ate quite slowly, to be honest. Properly chew my food. Nowadays, I just, you know, swallow things whole, I suppose, without actually chewing it, which is not good to do, by the way. You should definitely chew your food properly and fully first. Oh, I just have another really short story as well. I remember when I was like in year 6 or year 5, eating my packed lunch or whatever. Oh yeah, it was only ever packed lunches I was for some reason slow eating it. So maybe I did just have a larger packed lunch than most other people, or maybe it's because I always finished things fully. Like, while a lot of my other like friends and classmates didn't like finish their food, like they didn't eat their vegetables or something. Yeah, I don't know, fair enough. Well, not fair enough. You should eat your vegetables. They're full of like nice vitamins and minerals and stuff, and they're good for you. And honestly, they're not all that bad, I would say. But there's very few vegetables I think I particularly dislike. Is this where we're going now? We're talking about vegetables, I suppose. Vegetable eating as a child. That's not a title for a video. But there's not too many vegetables or fruits I particularly disliked when I was younger. When I was younger, I very much think I liked every fruit. At least I can't think of a fruit I didn't particularly like. I remember I wasn't crazy about cherries when I was younger. Nowadays, even I'm still not like crazy about cherries. I do like a cherry taste. But normally, if like a fruit has a pit, which is kind of annoying, I'm just like, I don't really want to deal with that, you know. I like all these other fruits instead. Why not just eat them? So, you know, like what my favourite like fruits to eat, you know, banana and grapes are definitely up. Seedless grapes, mind you, because they're just easy to eat. You just, you know, peel banana, eat grapes, pop, eat. That sort of thing. There was no prep work required, I suppose. And they're not particularly messy fruits, which is definitely something which I think appeals to me. You know, like as much as I do like an orange, and sometimes the orange juices can get a little bit messy, or apple juices as well. The apple has considerably less juice, fewer juice. Because you can quantify juice, I suppose, but it's not like juice itself is of a quantifiable word. Probably fewer juice, right? No, less juice. No, less juice sounds more right. If you don't know what I'm arguing over, it's less versus fewer. You're meant to use fewer if it's actually a quantifiable thing, and then less if it's not. So you have less hope, but fewer choices. That's a surprisingly depressing sentence I just said there for no reason. I guess we're talking about like fruits and veg as a child. Vegetables, I was definitely a lot more hit or miss on, I think, a lot of them. Like, for whatever reason, I loved broccoli and onions when I was younger. Some of them I was just like, more air on. Like, carrots, I distinctly remember raw carrots, when I was younger, taste different to me than they do now. When they were younger, they had such a sharp taste, I remember, which is why I didn't like them. They had like a sharp, like almost like a tart taste to them when I ate them, and that's why I was like, I don't love them, but I'll still, you know, if my parents gave them to me, I wasn't very much someone, very rarely I feel like actually no, that's not true necessarily, because apparently my parents told me that I was actually kind of picky when I was younger, but I kind of like grew out of it reasonably quickly. Nowadays I just literally eat anything. You give it to me, you tell me it's edible, I'll be like, sure, I'll eat it. But very few things I will turn down. The reasons I would turn things down, I'd be like, in recent memory, I remember one time we were on holiday, we just had like fast food, like 4 or 5 meals in a row, and I just went to my friends, hey, can we just have food which has like some amount of vegetables or something in it? I feel like I'm gonna die. And they were like, fair enough. So I think we ordered like Asian food or like Wagamamas or something, which is not like the healthiest food in the world, but I just got like some thing which is basically just vegetables, and I was like, yeah, okay, I feel good now. It's because we had like burgers and pizza, and then like McDonald's or something, and then something else. I can't remember. Anyway, that was like a year or two ago when I went on holiday. And I don't know why that came to mind, but oh yeah, I was gonna look up Nookmar missions, so I was like, that's not the Nookmar mission. Are you insane? Excuse me, cancel. Why is it not cancelling? Ah, dear me. I'm stuck in the camera. Can I get out? Here we go. Oh my god. But apparently when I was younger, I was a lot pickier with food. I don't really remember being pickier, so it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, that definitely happened. But you know, I don't really have much reason to doubt my parents, I suppose, in that regard. Yeah, but nowadays I'm like not picky in the slightest. I'll eat whatever, you know. So certainly I should perhaps pay more attention to what I eat, so you know I eat healthier choices, especially if I'm like very much someone who doesn't mind too much when I eat. Might as well eat the healthy thing, right? Yeah, at least when I was younger, I don't remember like me comparing me when I was younger to some of my friends I had when I was younger, and how much I dislike vegetables. Maybe even like some of my friends now. But to be fair, a lot of my friends now, if they are a pickier eater, they are very like self-aware about that sort of thing. They don't try to claim anything else, so they know what they like, and it's not through sheer amount of like not trying foods. They've tried them, but they're just like, it's not for me. Fair enough, you know. I mean, I feel like, you know, people get like it's very easy to hate on something because it seems like less good or like inferior, I suppose, than something else. But like, if you're a picky eater who's tried different foods and you just been like, yeah, I kind of just like don't like it, fair enough, you know. as long as you still have like, you're getting all the nutrients you need, you know, have a balanced meal somewhat. I'd say just for like your own health and safety. Well, not safety's not is a bit exaggerated, but for your own health certainly. But you know, people have taste buds, you know. People, everyone has different tastes. People are picky at different things and different like genres of living. You know, some people are picky with food, some people are picky with like exercise, etc., etc. None of us are perfect. Nobody's perfect. To quote Marge Simpson, I think, from Simpsons. I don't even know necessarily. I think I've only seen that from like memes. Yeah, okay. Talk to villagers. Ooh, these are quite difficult ones to do. But yeah, I don't really know what I was going with that, to be honest. So just sort of like if you're picky, then so be it. But at least when I was younger, I very much at least feel like I liked fruit when I was younger. And vegetables, I don't remember being that picky about vegetables. I didn't like as many, like every vegetable. Like carrots, I remember, had a distinctly sharp taste. Peppers also tasted quite bitter to me, I remember, when I was younger. And the only reason I remember is because I remember eating like a carrot at one point and being like, I don't really love it or whatever, and my family being like, oh, when you get older you'll start to like it. And it's true, you know, I'm older, love raw carrots, lovely, peppers, lovely. For that age, I remember I would imprint whatever that taste was into my mind to be like, I'll never forget what this tastes like. So then we can really see if your taste changed when you're older. And the taste has changed. Carrots do not taste that sharp or tart to me anymore for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's just gone. And peppers don't taste bitter to me anymore. So who knows? Maybe it's my perceptions changed, or maybe my senses are really dulled, which, you know, could have, you know, probably did happen, to be honest. But if anything, that's a good thing, because now I can eat healthier food and just be like less affected by it. I don't love, of course, every vegetable I eat, you know. There's some things with like Brussels sprouts I still find kind of bitter, but I still like, I'll still eat them, I suppose. A boiled Brussels sprout, I would say, is distinctly boring as it comes to a vegetable, but roasted one is still actually pretty tasty. Mushrooms are pretty good, you know, dependent on the texture. Sometimes, you know, mushrooms cooked like weird, have a very rubbery texture, not enjoyable. Still, I would eat them, but saying still I would eat it is not really much of like an award, so much as it's a participation trophy. But yeah, I don't really know where I was going with this. But I always felt like I ate my vegetables back in school when I was a child. So it's interesting to me what my parents said I was picky, but I don't know necessarily what I was picky about. Maybe it wasn't about fruits and vegetables. Maybe it was about other things. That's probably very true. I remember I did not like lamb when I was younger, and nowadays I'm like, I still don't really love lamb, to be honest. But like, it's fine. I would never order it, but if you gave it to me, I'd be like, okay, sure, why not? Or maybe it's just my parents had like different standards of what to eat. You know, like, oh man, our child won't eat bean sprouts. How could she? And one, you know, I'm thinking back to my primary school friends, and they like refuse to even touch any vegetables whatsoever. It's wild to think about. Of course, I assume they're not like that nowadays. Well, I don't know. I haven't spoken to like basically any of my primary school friends, I think, since GCSE time. So, you know, very much in the past. Presumably now they are all adults who, you know, eat a fair amount of vegetables. I don't know, I'm not here to like disparage them. We were all kids at some point. But I always remember, like in the canteen in primary school at lunch, we had to get a main meal, and then there was like a salad bar where we had to get like vegetables, and then there was like a dessert section. I remember like I would always get whatever the main meal was for that day. Sometimes I'd get some other weirder ones, to be honest. There was no really rhyme or reason. And when we get to the salad bar, I would always have the same thing. I'd get cucumbers, tomatoes, carrots. In that order of priority, because sometimes not every vegetable was there all the time, but those are the ones I'd get. And then sometimes I would also get lettuce if I really had to, because I think they started introducing a thing where you had to get at least 2 vegetables, and so many of my friends would just get the 2 vegetables and would just throw it away at the end. But you know, I ate them every single time. You know, I got the vegetables before I think that rule was even introduced. And I feel like I remember one time the fact that both cucumbers, tomatoes, and carrots weren't there or something. And I didn't want to get like 3 vegetables or whatever, because I was like, I don't really like these vegetables. And I remember such an injustice, because there was the dinner lady being like, oh yeah, you still had to get 2 vegetables. And I was like, hey, every single time I've gotten like 2 or 3 vegetables, you know, you can't cut me some slack once. That's my internal feeling. But of course, you know, externally feeling and looking back on it, why would the dinner lady remember, you know, oh wow, this child always gets 2 or 3 vegetables. Also, nothing special, because we definitely had some vegetarian people in our school. So, again, I don't know. When you're a child, you have very interesting perspectives on things, I suppose. I also remember one time I got cucumbers, and when I started eating with cucumbers, and being like, why are these cucumbers so disgusting? Ew. And then I remember that was the sort of age where before you were allowed to eat your pudding or your dessert, pudding just being a generic name for dessert, not literally the actual food pudding, you had to ask a dinner lady. You had to put your hand up and the dinner lady would come over and she would check that you've eaten like enough of your meal to like warrant you eating your dessert, because often the dessert was something nice, and you know, like a cake or like a pudding, you know, the food pudding this time, not the dessert pudding, or something generally that you would like and it's tasty because it's like sweet or whatever, or savoury in some cases, because actually cream cheese and crackers was actually a very common dessert, which I actually chose quite a lot of time. I don't know, because I guess, you know, from a young age I was never particularly jazzed about sweet things. But you had to ask the dinner lady about to check that you've eaten like most of your fruits and vegetables. I don't remember if I was asking to eat my pudding or whatever, but I think I just remember talking to the dinner lady about these cucumbers, being like, why are these cucumbers so gross? And she was like, they're not cucumbers, they're courgettes. And I was like, what's a courgette? That's the only thing I remember from that. Anyway, I had to eat them anyway, despite the fact I didn't like them. Or, you know, and I don't know if I had to necessarily. She was probably like, oh, you know, you should still eat them. And I was like, fine, you know, peer pressure that this is something that I should do because it's a good thing to do. So I still eat them. And I remember just hating them. Anyway, nowadays courgettes are pretty nice, so, you know. Courgettes are also zucchinis, if you want the American term for them. Yeah, so I don't know why that came to mind. There's a lot of random vegetables in that thing. I feel like there were olives as well. And I will say, okay, as far as like things go, olives, I don't really care about olives all that much. They're not to my tastes. You know, I don't love olives. I would never, if you were like, hey, what do you want on your pizza toppings? Do you want to add olives? I'm going to be like, no thanks. And they're like, it's free. And I'm going to be like, nah, I'm okay. But if you were to sell it to me like, oh yeah, this dish traditionally has olives in, I thought you were Audi. And I was like, how did you get here? If you're like, oh, this dish traditionally has olives in, then I'll be like, okay, put the olives in. I'll try it like the traditional way, you know, why not? Whether I'd like it or not with the olives is, I suppose, a different matter. But yeah, olives, I would probably put at the bottom of my like vegetable tier list. I don't even know if they really count as a vegetable. I don't know what they are, to be honest. But boy, I don't know what you are. Boy, don't try to run to where you are. Did we get the Nookmar missions for today? Not Nookmar missions, the thing, the loading up thing. Anyway, the long and short of this is, I suppose, your 5-a-day as a child is a lot harder than your 5-a-day as an adult. If you are a child watching these videos, one, why? No, not why, that's a bit disparaging. I mean, if you're a child and you're watching these videos, I hope I've made things child-friendly enough that I've not influenced you in a bad way. I mean, I'm talking about eating your vegetables. I feel like a Sesame Street sort of like show or something, being like, hey kids, remember to eat your veggies, woo! Or something like that, but, basically, long and short of it is eat your vegetables, and it gets easier as you get older, because as you eat more of it, you start to like it more. But still some vegetables, yeah, which I'm not, like, amazingly jazzed about, which, you know, the same tier of, like, olives, you know, kale, I don't think tastes great, to be perfectly honest. I'd still eat it if it was in something. I don't even know what else. What other vegetables do I not particularly like? It's usually kind of like bitter vegetables, I would say. Bitter chocolate decoration, which is not like I got anything against a bitter taste, but I think some of like the bitter leafy vegetables are a bit more meh. Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. List of vegetables. I just need like a list of vegetables so I can just sort of like get inspired. Tomatoes. Okay, tomatoes technically a fruit, but culinarily they're a vegetable. Unless you're going to put them in your fruit salad, in which case, fair enough. Tomatoes, great. Tomatoes, delicious, I would say. Potatoes? Yeah, also pretty great. I think a lot of people rate potatoes super highly. I'm just like, yeah, they're pretty good. They're like a nice basis food. Cabbage, good. Carrots, good. Onion, love onions. Mushrooms, hit or miss a lot of the time, but I still wouldn't eat them. Pumpkins, yeah, pumpkins, delicious. Pumpkins, basically a fruit, I would say, but it's not. Broccoli, delicious. Green peas. Ah, yeah, peas was not. Peas also, I feel like tasted different to me when I was younger as well. They tasted also more bitter. But now they start tasting a bit sweet, which is weird. I don't know. I wonder if that's a thing. Like, do adult taste buds different to child taste buds? Have a higher concentration of taste buds that are receptive to sweet taste. Okay, so yeah, okay, fair enough. So I guess literally my tastes have changed. So cauliflower. I put broccoli above cauliflower, but cauliflower is still pretty good. Garlic, I guess. I feel like putting like garlic, tomato and potatoes in the same category just feels wrong. Bitter gourd? You have 16 vegetables up here and you decided to list bitter gourd as one of them? Instead of like, I don't know, a turnip? What? That is wild. So many leafy vegetables. I never really thought about. I don't even know if I've had artichoke before. I'm gonna be honest. Fennel? Fennel counts as a vegetable? Actually, to be fair, that's because I was thinking of fennel seeds, not fennel plant. Which, honestly, I also am not sure if I've eaten by itself, but whatever. Asparagus is okay. Celery is a thing that, actually, you know what? What carrots to me when I was younger taste a bit like celery does to me now, except for celery doesn't taste nearly as strong sharply. Celery has a very sharp taste to me, for whatever reason. I don't know if anyone else gets that, which is not... I'm not, like, in love with it, but I'd still eat it. Celery is the sort of thing where if it's mixed in with something else, I'm like, yeah. But I wouldn't really want to eat raw celery all that often. Yeah, I don't know. Vegetables and, I guess, vegetable tastes? I don't know what I'm going to title this episode, but either way, I'm going to round it off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.